How's everybody doing? It is Cheff Jeff here, otherwise known for Cheff Jeff's Prop Menu. You can find me on Twitter at PropChefBets. I'll show you my Twitter real quick. Yeah, I do a lot of betting on the NBA and the NFL, so full transparency here with my records and the units won and everything. So yeah, definitely give me a follow if you like prop betting and just interested. But today I'm going to be doing a video with OddsJam. So first off, I want to give you guys a little link of following them on Twitter at OddsJam, and then you can find the website just oddsjam.com. So one thing I like in their bio, they do say that their website is a tool built for users, and I really do agree with that. So if you don't know what OddsJam is, it is a website where you can look at odds for, practically anything in betting, money lines, spreads, like you see here, total points, first field goal made, and really anything that you can think of in betting, anything that you can find a bet on, you can look on OddsJam to find the best odds. They also have other features like betting tools. They have a calculator. They have bet trackers, just in case you want to keep all your bets into one and see how they're doing while the games are being played. So just for an example of what something that they can do on OddsJam is I'm going to be going over 3 of my favorite games for this Sunday's NFL slate. And just if you click on, I'm not going to do money line and point spread because that's what I'm going to be covering here in a minute. If you want to know pretty much who has the best odds for first touchdown score, it'll show you pretty much all the odds right here for BetMGM. And then, I guess that's not really a great example. Here you go, first team to score. So if you're curious on betting who's going to be the first team to score out of the Ravens and the Vikings, you can come here and you can look to see whether or not what the odds are for each of these individual books that they provide. And so, for an example, the first team to score, the best odds for the first team to score being the Ravens would be FoxBet at minus 150, but it shows that DraftKings has minus 160, BetMGM has minus 155, Barstool has minus 162. And then if you think that the Vikings are going to be the first team to score, the best odds for that would be DraftKings at plus 130. So these odds do actually vary, obviously depending on the books. And being the time that you see this, like right now, it is 3:43 p.m. Eastern time, and this is November 5th, so it's a Friday. So you might be seeing this a little bit later, or a little bit, maybe another day. Just to be transparent there, that these odds might move, they might change on the website, just depending on based on when you look, when you place the bet, and when you see the video. So if you do see this video, just make sure to click on it, view it, and so you can check out the odds as soon as possible, and so that you get the best odds possible. So first off, like I said, I'm going to be going over 3 of my favorite games for this Sunday. The first one is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Minnesota Vikings, and so for the money line, we have the Ravens being, I wouldn't say heavily favored, they're pretty decently favored. So right now, I'm going to actually talk over my 4 main sports books that I use, which are BetMGM, Caesars, DraftKings, and FanDuel. And so, as of right now, the Baltimore Ravens are, favored at minus 250 on BetMGM, which is the best lines that you can find out of those 4. But if you do happen to use FoxBet, it's also minus 250, which is tied with BetMGM. And then on Caesars, you have minus 270, DraftKings minus 260, and FanDuel minus 270. So if you don't use BetMGM but use DraftKings, and so I definitely would get it on DraftKings at minus 260. But if you're looking for an upset, the Vikings to upset the Ravens, there's a lot of lines that are the same for books. Like you can see here, the yellow is all the best lines. So plus 220 is on Barstool, BetRivers, Caesars, FanDuel, PointsBet, Unibet, WinBet, The Score, and TwinSpires. So there's the plus 220 is a nice line, and it's obviously being coordinated throughout all the books. So for mine, obviously, BetMGM is plus 210, and then DraftKings is plus 210. So I probably would take it on Caesars or FanDuel if I thought that the Vikings were going to upset. And actually, my prediction of the game is I do think the Vikings are going to win this game. I feel like the Ravens are a very good football team, but they're on a high horse after what they did to the Chargers, and then they got kind of got put in their place against the Bengals, and so I feel like they're still a good team, but I also think the Vikings are a good team, and last week was just bad play calling, just bad all around in every aspect of the game for the Vikings against the Dak Prescott-less Dallas Cowboys, and I just think that they're going to bounce back. I think Justin Jefferson's getting a a lot of fire for how he's been performing. I mean, I saw a tweet the other day, or maybe it might have been on Instagram, but him saying that he doesn't give a crap about our fantasy football teams. And so, like, I understand that. He's a professional athlete. You know, he's going to do what he can to help win, but he also doesn't really, he's not going to sit there and try and get 200 yards receiving every game because of a fantasy football game. Like, you know, but I do think the Vikings are a very talented team. They have plenty of weapons on offense, and Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, like I said, Tyler Conklin's really come on, and Dalvin Cook's one of the best running backs in the league. And Kirk Cousins is still, you know, a competent quarterback. Like, he can still, you know, sling the rock, and he can still do what needs to be done to win football games. So I like actually the Vikings to win this game, or to at least cover the spread, which I will get into here in a minute. Like I said, with the spread, it's going to be, I believe it is, hold on. It is -6. Okay, yeah. So the Ravens are favored by 6. And for the spread, you're going to see a lot of the same odds. So like here, Barstool's -110, BetMGM's the same, BetRivers and Caesars. Then you've got DraftKings at -115. I have noticed since I've started using DraftKings, they like to set their odds at -115 for like anything that, you know, kind of seems likely or the favorite. If you know what I mean by that. And then Fox Bet's -110, and then FanDuel is -114. So if I were to be taking the Ravens to cover -6, I probably would be using Caesars or BetMGM. And then for the Vikings +6, which I actually really like a lot here, I like the Vikings to win this game, but if they don't win this game, I don't think that they're going to lose by very much. I think I would play it at like +3.5, just so that, you know, that they would cover by that field goal. So -110, Barstool, BetMGM, all these are -110. You got DraftKings at -105, which actually I like. I might consider that being a play this weekend, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I have to dive a little bit more into it. And then Fox Bet -110 and FanDuel -106. So yeah, like I said, I do like the Vikings to cover 6. I actually would kind of sprinkle a little bit on the Vikings to win the game, which, like I said before, is +220 is the best line for that. So if you use FanDuel or Caesars, +220, or then obviously BetRivers and Barstool's 220, and then all these 5 other sports books are also +220 as well. So that's just my opinion. You obviously, you know, you don't have to agree with it, but that's exactly who I like. I kind of think that the Vikings are gonna play a little bit better than they did last week. So getting into the next game, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, to me, when they were, you know, 7-0, and I just didn't think that they were like one of the better 7-0 teams that we've seen in the last couple of years, like, you know, undefeated after 7 weeks or 8 weeks. I think they had their bye week. I'm not 100% sure on that. But then, you know, they get the Green Bay Packers Thursday night last week, and Aaron Rodgers has nobody to throw to, and he still finds a way to win the game, which is why Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And I hate to say that because I am actually a Bears fan, but I know for a fact that Aaron Rodgers can do it. Like, he can win a football game with anybody on that field because he's just that good of a quarterback, and he showed that. Like, he just had Aaron Jones, and that's it. He had Randall Cobb, but Randall Cobb is past his prime. So, like, you know, it was just amazing to see. And it's also a thing that, like, kind of makes me suspect how good the Arizona Cardinals actually are. But I will still give it to them. They're a good football team. So the 49ers, they're coming off a couple rude weeks. They played in a really nasty game against the Colts. They ended up losing that game by over 2 scores. And then they come back the next week, and they play the Bears. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm a Bears fan. At Soldier Field in Chicago. And it was a good game. They won 33-22, I believe. So they took care of business, the 49ers did. And they played a good game. They ran the ball really well. So it's a little bit different. I think the 49ers are a really well-rounded team, but they just don't always put it together on the field. And that's how a lot of teams are. But here for the money line odds, we have the Arizona Cardinals to be actually not favored, which is kind of surprising to me. But maybe last week kind of showed the sportsbook that the Arizona Cardinals aren't as, you know, good as that record showed them to be. But BetMGM's at +110. Caesars +125, and DraftKings +110, and then FanDuel +114. And they did lose J.J. Watt. I know that. If they lost anybody else, I'm not 100% sure why this is favored. Maybe it's just how the 49ers played last week against the Bears. But Barstool has the 49ers at -134, BetMGM 130, which is actually one of the better odds. And then Caesars minus 145, DraftKings minus 130, and FanDuel minus 134. So if I were to play the 49ers odds, or the 49ers money line, I would be looking for my odds on BetMGM or DraftKings at minus 130. But honestly, this game might be something I stay away from in regards to money line and even point spread, just because it's going to be such a close game with it. The odds for money line only being in the plus 100s for the favored team. So going over to the point spread, like I said, it's not going to be anything crazy. I'm pretty sure it's 2. Yes, 2.5 for the Cardinals, with 2 and 2.5 here, just highlighted. And so the Cardinals to cover by 2.5 is minus 110. Pretty much in these first 4. So Caesars, Bet Rivers, BetMGM, and then Barstool. And then on Fox Bet, it's minus 110. And then FanDuel's minus 120. And then DraftKings minus 120. So then for the 49ers to cover by 3, which is actually not a bad bet. I mean, if they played the way they played last week, they could handle the Cardinals by at least 3 points. And you can find that the best odds of that for plus 100 on FanDuel. That's actually really nice, since the rest of them are minus 110. And then for plus 2 and minus 2, for plus 2, we got Fox Bet plus 100, and FanDuel minus 110, DraftKings minus 110, and then 105 for BetMGM, and then minus 115 for the 49ers minus 2 on BetMGM. And then we have DraftKings minus 110, which is the best odds for that line, and then minus 110 as well for FanDuel. So I'd probably play it at FanDuel minus 110 or DraftKings minus 110. But this game is one of my favorite games this week because of the uncertainty. The Cardinals came out, and a lot of people thought that they were going to handle the Packers without the Packers being having a lot of their playmakers and Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, Marcus Valdes-Scantling. They didn't have any playmakers on offense, and Aaron Rodgers still got the job done. And then obviously the 49ers having a really bad game against the Colts in really nasty weather, and then coming back and playing really well against the Bears, and taking care of business there. So I'm just kind of curious as how the game's going to play out. If I were to play one of these spreads, it probably would be it's tough. I probably would play the Cardinals plus 2.5, just because I have a little bit more faith in them than I do in the 49ers. As a team, well-rounded. So, but I do like this game. It's a divisional matchup, so it's always a little bit more intense when it comes to division games. And then talking about division games, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. So for the money line, for my books, we got BetMGM minus 135 in Cleveland. BetMGM is minus 135 for the Bengals, and then we have plus 15 for the Browns on BetMGM as well. Same thing with Caesars. Both odds are the same. DraftKings, we have minus 140 for the Bengals. So that gets a little worse compared to Caesars and BetMGM, but then we have plus 120, so it's changing by 5. So Caesars and BetMGM were minus 135, and now DraftKings is 140, but then 115 for the Browns money line, and then 120 on DraftKings. And then we got FanDuel actually is the best odds for the Bengals money line at minus 132, but they have the Cleveland Browns money line at plus 112. I don't know if I agree with the Bengals being favored here, but I do understand the fact that the Browns are missing Kareem Hunt. They're obviously Baker's playing on a torn labrum, and he's not playing the best. They have the issues going on right now with Odell, which as of today they've released him, so he's no longer on the team. And so he's gonna be signed somewhere else, and I think that just brings drama into the locker room. So I really think that might be another reason why the Bengals are favored, but also because the Bengals have been playing crazy good as of recent. They did lose to the Jets, which is sad. I think that I don't know what happened that game, but I do know that they were struggling to run the ball. And as we saw last night on the Thursday Night Football game, Jonathan Taylor and the Colts ran all over the Jets. I feel like I don't know why they just struggled so hard to run the ball. The Bengals did, and Mike White threw for 400 yards, so that'll do it as well. He was slinging the ball a lot, but I really do like the Bengals team as a whole. I love Jamar Chase. I mean, I was high on him for the first for one of my fantasy football leagues in the first round draft, or for the rookie draft in the first round, and I ended up getting him, and I couldn't be more happy. I honestly think I would rather have him now than Najee or even Kyle Pitts. I think Najee's a quick close call there because of the fact that he's a running back, and in fantasy football they're kind of valuable. So, but getting back into betting, not getting onto a rant about fantasy football. I do like the Bengals to win this game, but I do think the Browns keep it close. They're still a good team. They're missing Kareem Hunt. They just lost Odell, and the Bengals offense is just playing very well. Other than obviously the game against the Jets, which is the oddball actually. So talking about the money line, getting over to the point spread, I knew this one was gonna be close, just like the Cardinals and the 49ers game. The Bengals -2.5 and the Browns +2.5. I don't know which one I like more. I mean, let's just look at the odds for BetMGM -115 for Bengals to cover 2.5, -2.5, and then the -105 on BetMGM as well for the Browns to cover +2.5. I do like that. Obviously, with 105 being the best line for the Browns for +2.5. So just kind of looking into more. Caesars is -110 both ways, so that's kind of rough. Same thing with DraftKings, and then FanDuel -106 for the Bengals -2.5, and -114 for the Browns +2.5. If I were to play any of these, I probably would take the Bengals -2.5 and play it on FanDuel at -106. Like I said earlier, with the inconsistency of the Browns and all the drama in the locker room right now with Odell and him not being traded, but also it's very weird to me that he wasn't traded. They didn't push to trade him, and they made reports that he wasn't going to be traded, and then he gets was able to sit from practice for 2 or 3 days straight, and then they release him. Doesn't make any sense. As an organization, you think if there's problems, they would just look to trade him to get something out of him rather than just releasing him. So it's weird to me. I think that's going to cause some issues for a week or so. And the Bengals have just been lights out on offense. So I do like the Bengals -2.5. Other than that, really, I think that's about all for my 3 games. I was going to go over more, but I think 3 games is a lot to cover. These are my 3 favorite games for the weekend. There's a couple that I just don't like that much. If we go back to football, let me go and look at the rest of the games. I know there's a couple. Most of them are division games this week. But I know there's a lot of heavy favorited, like this one, the Buffalo Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars. You're looking at, also I forgot to mention this, they do a great job with this. They show you what time the game starts. They also show you the best line for the money line on the actual home screen before you actually go into the odds. Go into the odds to look at money line, point spread, all the player prop bets, stuff like that. So I really do appreciate this feature right here. It's very nice. And so yeah, the games I was talking about were like the Jaguars and the Bills -1,000. Dolphins and Texans, that's a big uncertainty. The Eagles are they're not a team I like to watch, and the Chargers are, other than the game against the Ravens, they've been very good this year. Raiders, Giants, same thing, and then Saints and Falcons. That's an injury-plagued team with the Saints and quarterback situation, and then the Falcons are just hit or miss. So I really the Cowboys, if they get Dak back, which I'm assuming that's I think he is playing this week, so -130 or -435 is very nice for the Cowboys. But the Broncos start out the year strong, and they have a good defense, so maybe they can get a couple stops and change the game around against the Cowboys. But the Cowboys offense is just way too talented, and I just don't see the Cowboys losing this game. And the Broncos just actually traded Von Miller. So, but that's going to be all for me. Like I said, make sure to check out OddsJam. You can just go to oddsjam.com. They have odds for many different sports: baseball, basketball, boxing, football, golf, anything you name it. I mean, they have amazing tools on here, betting tools. Just literally anything in betting that you want to look up in regards to odds, in regards to just betting. Like I said, with these tools, the calculators that they use, they also have a bet tracker. So if you want to place all your bets into one and then just kind of track them as the games are going, it's a very good tool to use. I just like to use this for the odds, just so I don't have to go searching when I do my research and make my plays. I don't have to go searching for what's the best odds. I come here to OddsJam, look it up, and I'm done. It's that simple. So it's a great tool. It's definitely a tool for the users. And then lastly, go follow them on Twitter again, like I said, at OddsJam. The tool is built for our users. That's just complete transparency, and I really do appreciate it. This takes a lot of work to do something like this, especially to help people out. And then Also, if you like prop bets and you haven't followed me yet on Twitter, you can follow me at Prop Chef Bets. Like I said, I have my record for the NBA and NFL. That's what I'm doing right now, and full transparency of my record and the units that I've won. I've been doing pretty well as of this year, but and I hope that it stays the same. So if you haven't followed me yet and you like prop bets for the NFL and the NBA, I also do post a couple of same game parlays here and there every so often. It really just depends on the night, depends on the slate. So, but I like to do that for fun and just kind of see what my followers also have going for them for like same game parlays or just anything involving betting. I mean, I have had a lot of people message me about same game parlays that they put together and they've hit a couple times in the past, so I do appreciate that a lot. And so yeah, just make sure to definitely follow OddsJam on Twitter, and then also use the website for anything really sports betting. It's awesome. So appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.